Skill Entrepreneurship and organized by APAC News Network. We had an amazing inaugural session with the representation and participation from Government of Kerala, Additional Chief Secretary, Mr. Satyajit Rajan, who is the program chair of this conclave, and we were also had representation from a very senior bureaucrat from the state of Karnataka, Srimati K. Ratnaprabha. She is the chairperson, Karnataka Skill Development Authority, KSDA. And also from the Government of India, we had keynote address from Mr. Praveen Kumar, and also the Chief General Manager from the State Bank of India, Kerala Thiruvananthapuram, Mr. Mrigendra Lal Das, also participated and talked about in the inaugural session, nurturing entrepreneurial mindset, facilitating upgrading skill development in the new world order, and what would be the role of the government, industry, academia, and the global collaboration. Now we are in the midst of this very important conclave, and we are joined by some important, very esteemed speakers from across the country. We are representing the state of Uttar Pradesh. We have a very young bureaucrat, IAS officer, who is the mission director with the Uttar Pradesh Skill Development Mission, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Kunal Silku. Thank you very much, Mr. Kunal Silku, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Representing the state of Karnataka, we have Mr. Shashidhara, who is the executive director with the Karnataka Skill Development Corporation, Government of Karnataka. Thank you very much, Mr. Shashidhara, for joining us. And representing the state of Telangana, there are very two important organizations that is playing a very important role in bridging the gap between the academia and industry, and also setting the tone for entrepreneurship in the state of Telangana. Not just Telangana, they are going beyond the state of Telangana. And we have the Chief Executive Officer of Telangana Academy of Skill and Knowledge, Mr. Shrikant Sinha, who comes with an rich experience in the entrepreneurship in the field of information technology. Thank you very much, Mr. Shrikant, for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And we're also joined by a young female mind who is heading a very important organization in the state of Telangana, that is Women Entrepreneurship Hub, Miss Deepthi Ravula. This particular organization doing is an amazing work where the women are given wings to their business ideas and entrepreneurship mindset. Thank you very much, Ms. Deepthi, for joining us. And we are also joined by Mr. Jayaram, who is representing the State Bank of India in the state of Kerala. Thank you very much, Mr. Jayaram, for joining us. So this particular session would be focusing on the best practices of the states related to skilling and entrepreneurship. Initially, we'll take the perspective, the best practices and innovations being done by the respective organization, and at the end, we'll have a cross discussion and also some queries and Q&A from the audience. So to begin with, I would request our esteemed speaker from the state of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Silku, to please share the best practices and innovation, especially focusing on skills and entrepreneurship in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Over to you, Mr. Silku.
Thank you so much, Sudhir. First of all, it is my pleasure to be a part of this program. Thank you so much for inviting me. UP has been, UP is the biggest state, as we all know, and we have a very big mandate of skilling a lot of young population. And UPSGM is continuously working in that direction. We have done some very important innovations or initiatives in past 1 year, 1.5 years, and we have also received a few of the good awards regarding that. So I will just detail out some of the initiatives. I hope I will be having at least 10 minutes for the presentation. So first of all, in UP, we have made the training completely online. So this is not the case with most of the state missions. Normally, the PMKVY and DDUGKY schemes are run by Skill India portals of Government of India, which are digital, but the state missions are not digitalized end to end. But UP has digitalized its complete mechanism right from impaneling of training partners to imparting training educations, recording Aadhaar-based biometric attendance, to taking payments to training partners, payouts to the candidates, tracking them for at least 1 year, hand-holding them, ensuring that they get job, industry connect, and all the entire process of skilling has been made completely online. And it is also the UPSDM portal. It is developed by NIC only. So this is one. It has actually brought in a lot of speed and transparency in the system. The second innovation which we actually did a MOU with Coursera. Uh, I think the two other states have also done it, Tamil Nadu and Orissa, as per my knowledge. Coursera, as we know, it's a global learning platform. It's basically a US-based learning platform, and it offers degrees from all across the universities of the world. Singapore universities, universities of European nations, universities of obviously US, and uh, all these big Ivy League also universities are also there on this platform. So we had a MOU with them, and we got 50,000 free licenses from them. And in those free licenses, we could actually train more than 1.3 lakh students in various courses, and we could actually generate a subsidy of in the tune of around 60 to 70 crores. So on one hand, while we could actually provide free of cost training to the middle class and higher middle class and aspiring uh, youths who are generally left out in the skill missions, because normally skill missions target the most needy and BPL population, SC/ST population. Normally we target those people because we have to subsidize the training. But using this Coursera initiative, we could actually target the middle class and the slightly higher middle class, lower middle class population, which are more educated, and they are looking for a higher level of a degree or a higher level of employment opportunities. So it was a very good initiative. It was completely free of cost. Government didn't pay anything. Rather, we generated a revenue of around 70 crores. So it is a thing which was a unique thing, and which other states could also try to implement. The next initiative which was done was actually impaneling placement partners with us. Actually, up till now, the trainings which are being conducted either at the state level or at the Government of India level, there we have actually tasked the training partner with both the responsibilities of also the skilling and of also providing placements. While we cannot change the Government of India guidelines, but we have wrote in the placement partners as a assisting body to the training partners. And since they are the specialized bodies who specialize in providing placement, so they are acting as a handhold mechanism. And if they reach the 70% placement norm required by GOI or required by UPSDM for receiving the payment, so then there is a profit sharing arrangement between the PP and the placement partner. So this has resulted in very good placement opportunities being created. Before this initiative, our placement figure was 35-40%, which is equivalent to the national average. But now we have jumped to around 65% of placement. So 20% jump has been recorded in the placement by creating this placement partner kind of initiative. We are trying to document this, and maybe we will send a success report to Government of India. Maybe they can implement this in their guidelines also. The another initiative which we have taken, this is basically regarding bringing in industries as training partners. So we have a concept of flexi MOU, in which we say that any big industrial houses having more than 50 crore turnover, they can themselves register as training partner. And while on one hand they anyways train the candidates on their shop floor, on their machines, on their offices, and employ them, and also pay them a stipend during that time. So we said that why don't you become training partners with us, and we will reimburse the entire training fees of the candidates. While we get the numbers of trained candidates, they get nicely trained candidates on their own shop floor in their own machines, and there is also a captive employment guarantee. So the people, like if Tata Motors is training those people, then those people are actually getting placed in Tata Motors also. If we are if Raymond's is our training partner, then people are actually getting placed in Raymond's after completing their training. So it's more like a captive placement. Those big industries are all coming forward for the training. So it was a very nice initiative. Now I think a few other states like West Bengal, Bihar, they're also doing these kind of initiatives. UP was pioneer way back in 2013. Only we started this flexi MOU kind of thing. And as regards entrepreneurship, as you have also mentioned, normally entrepreneurship is a space which has been left to the departments like rural development, and then we have SHG group formations. Maybe MSMEs do something in the entrepreneurship space. But skill development missions traditionally have not been very active in entrepreneurship. We have normally targeted wage employment. Self-employment has never been our forte, and even GOI guidelines also say that 50% the students should have at least 50% should have wage employment. You can have full 100% wage employment, but at least half of them should have wage employment. But even then, we have brought in a completely new program called CM Yuva, and in the CM Yuva program, we have basically built a umbrella structure in which we have said that we will provide the platform, and in this platform we will provide the DPR generation facility. This is for the first time that any state government is actually assisting the candidates in creating the application. Normally, what happens is that candidates put up the application, and then we as government is scrutinize the application, and which is right and which is wrong, and then we reject and we accept. But this for the first time, we are actually we are assisting the candidates in filling up the form, in filling up the DPR reports, taking the DPRs. So this service is there, and then our platform is there. Any self-employment scheme which is being run, be it through NRLM, be it through MSME, be it through horticulture, be it through animal husbandry, all of those schemes will be given through this unified platform. And yes, this platform is only for 15 to 25 years of age, which is our UPSDM's target population. If you are not falling in this bracket, then you have to actually go and apply individually to the department. But if you are falling in this UA bracket of 50 to 35, then this platform is there for helping you, and we will be assisting, hand-holding you right from the starting to the end, and we will ensure that if there is any skilling gap which is required, then the skill missions will actually come forward and they will provide that skilling gap also, and this will be done. So it is a thing which we have done in the entrepreneurship. The other thing, and this will be my last initiative to discuss currently, is the Seva Mitra concept. Seva Mitra concept is a completely new concept. No one has done this kind of concept in whole country at a pan-UP level, at pan state level. There are companies like Urban Company, Urban Clap, who are providing these kind of services, who provide basically household services. At the UPSDM level, we have linked the skilling missions with these kind of day job workers. So now we are saying that we have a platform. If you need a plumber, you simply call our helpline, and the plumber will be reaching your house, and that plumber will in turn be a skill certified plumber. He will no longer be a traditionally skilled plumber. He will be knowing plumbing, but on the other hand, he will also be certified plumber. So now it's a PPP project between the service providers and the government of UP. It's a joint venture between both these companies, and it's a completely market-based approach. They are deciding the prices, and it's a pretty big discussion on this after itself. But yeah, this is another aspect which we have done in the entrepreneurship, and we have tried to link in self-employment and unorganized sectors into bringing into the organized sector. So that's all from my side. I would like to hear from the other panels also. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kunal, for sharing those initiatives being done in the state of Uttar Pradesh, not just the top job profiles that you're focusing on, but also at the lower level where even the plumbers and this level of employment is also focused on. I will come back to you for further information on other aspects. Now I come to the state of Telangana, to Mr. Shrikant Sinha. Mr. Shrikant, can you please tell us how has been the prioritization that's happening in Kerala, especially by, I mean, say in the state of Telangana, especially by your organization task in terms of skilling and also entrepreneurship?
Sure. Thanks, Sudhir, and good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to be present amongst such an august panel, and thank you, APAC News Network, for providing us with an opportunity to share our thoughts. So in 2014, as you know, Telangana is one of the youngest states. We are not yet 7 as of today. Task was set up in 2014 itself. At that time, to ensure that the youth of the state get better employment opportunities and they are enabled to, join the job market itself. And that's where task was formed. So it was doing two purposes. One was, of course, the employability enhancement, and the second was ensuring that the government, the academic institutions, as well as the academic institutions also work together, and we are able to create better synergy amongst all the three: the industry, the academia, and the government itself. And that's where task was created. So this itself was a unique initiative, in itself. The organization was standing on three pillars. The first one was looking at employability. The second one was education, and third one was entrepreneurship. Looking at the education itself, it didn't mean we ran courses, educational courses or academic programs, etc. But we looked at the industry by doing regular industry interactions, roundtables, etc. Understood what are the requirements of the industry, ensured that we find the gap in the academic curriculum, ran short-term programs. Just to give you an example, ServiceNow or Salesforce, for example, right, one of the largest CRM platform, is not taught as part of the curriculum. But today there are plenty of jobs available in the CRM area, especially post-COVID. And that's where it opens up an entire different job opportunities for everyone. So we created programs working along with Salesforce and the Microsofts and all the technology partners, as well as other partners across, and supplemented the academic programs along with these skill level programs, which made them technically competent or they got domain specific knowledge. Post which, what we did is we went into the second part, which is the employability part of it, where we help the students get trained on the essential skills. So be it in terms of communication, English language, personality, aptitude reasoning, critical problem solving, teamwork, all these things, as well as we ran job fairs, ensuring that each and every student gets an opportunity to be employed somewhere. Coming to the third, while my colleague Deepthi, VC of WEHUB, would talk more in terms of the entrepreneurial opportunity, task is into creation of an entrepreneurial mindset, which essentially means that while, and if you look at it in a state like Telangana, there are 33 districts. While technology entrepreneurship, etc., is happening more towards Hyderabad, like I'm sure rest of India also, the metros actually drive technology entrepreneurship. Our emphasis is how can we promote social innovation and rural entrepreneurship. And that's where we ran a program called I4TS, Innovating for Telangana, where the message was very simple. Simplifying lives through social innovation. And that's where about 7,800 plus, and of course, WEHUB was also a partner, T-Hub, IIT Hyderabad, all the academic institutions, all the entire ecosystem of entrepreneurship available in the state actually helped create the program, roll out the program, and 2,000 people actually underwent that program, and now the second phase. So this was a mindset development program, entrepreneurial mindset. Now they are going to undergo a 3 months program, which is an entrepreneurship development program. So essentially what we are saying is that even if you are in a job, entrepreneurship can be useful for you. If you want to become an entrepreneur, then entrepreneurship also is there for you. Having said that, I'd also like to talk about two more initiatives which I am not driving myself, but are happening in the state itself. And since Mr. Naveen Mittal is not there, I am taking the liberty of sharing those with you. The first is, as part of our polytechnics, etc., English language has completely changed. So it's now business communication English, and it's not the Thomas Hardys or the Charles Dickens, etc., of the world that are being taught. So it is more of business communication English. Second is, along with CII, Department of Technical Education has initiated a program where an organization is right now, the entire third year of the curriculum is being done on the shop floor itself. This is the new model that is being piloted over here in Telangana for the first time across India. So these are some of the initiatives that are happening in Telangana towards skilling. Having said that, I would also like to mention here that we are also into skilling for people for the defense forces. So as a finishing school that we run, we train people for the defense forces. We have done programs on general duty assistants, for geriatric care. So essentially ensuring that the people who are there get better livelihood and employment opportunities is what task is all about. I'll stop now and happy to take further questions later.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Shrikant, for sharing those initiatives and the way you are, the task is moving forward. Now, I would come to the state of Karnataka, to Mr. Shashidhara, Executive Director, Karnataka Skill Development Corporation. Sir, we would like to have the best practices by KSDC.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shashidhar from Karnataka Skill Development Corporation. Yeah, as India is also blessed with demographic dividend, even Karnataka is also with a lot of youth population, and our focus has been on skill development and creating as many jobs as possible. And in fact, Karnataka is a perfect example of you have the modern industries, the development, the knowledge, the skills, and the KSDC is also very responsive towards that and trying to develop the youth in the skills to take care so that the youth who are aspiring to be at the international level, they also would be skilled at that level. Or let us say the youth are aspiring to be at their own native places, they also would be skilled to that level. So we are working at the aspirations of the youth at different levels. So in regarding this, we are trying to put in a few good innovative programs. And on this, let me just give you a rundown on what all KSDC is working on. The first thing is we are trying to have the tie-ups with all the industries, and because the industry is the best judge of the competency of the skills among the youth. So we are encouraging the industries to partner with Karnataka Skill Development Corporation as training partners, so that they would hire them and train them and deploy them in their own industries, and that would be irrespective of whatever the skills. It could be manufacturing skills, or it could be skills in aerospace or agriculture or anything for that matter. And also we are looking at entrepreneurship, which is at the grassroots level. That is the nano entrepreneurship program we are starting, where we are trying to find out the 200 we are trying to develop the 200 grassroots level entrepreneurs, the women and the youth from the disadvantaged groups, and they would be handheld. They would go through a training program, and they would be handheld for almost a year by the experts, so that at the end of the year they would be at least be able to employ about 3 to 4 employees themselves. And another one is wherever possible, the industry partnership is being encouraged. So we want these training institutions also to connect with the training industry partners. So wherever we can have the industries, because they would have the skilled manpower in them who are at a kind of age where they will be able to transfer those skills to the students or to the trainers in the institutions. So we are trying to have an industry partnership where they'll be able to train the teachers in various skills. We are also working on skill hub in each and every district. The skill hub would be a kind of a central point for all the youth to come and seek counseling on whether it is skilling or whether for the employment or for the entrepreneurship. So we are also arranging skill hubs in all the districts of Karnataka. This would be a kind of empowering the youth of Karnataka to be ready for the emerging job opportunities or the entrepreneurial ventures or whatever that's required by the youth. We are also working on skill on wheels because many of the Karnataka villages are quite remote. There, the youth will not be able to reach the towns and cities where the training centers are available. So we are also working on a skill on youth in 8 districts on a pilot basis, where the buses would be equipped in few of the skills. On a start basis, we are working on the electrician as well as beauty therapy. So we are working on that, where these buses would be equipped for training the youth for about a month, so that they can get the jobs in and around their own villages, or they can even assist the contractors or someone in those villages. So that is one initiative that is being done. That is Skill on Wheels. We also are through this Skill on Wheels trying to spread the awareness about skilling, and would also do the counseling and aptitude test to the youth. And there is also another initiative from Karnataka government, that is the skill outlet. We have quite a number of the native skills or the traditional skills which are being practiced by the youth in many of the districts. And we would like to see that there would be a centralized place so that they can reach out to the urban public. So we are working on this skill outlet, where we would in fact give a short-term or a long-term training programs also, if required, on the skill development to the rural youth, women, and students, or new and experienced entrepreneurs. And there is one more initiative called the Migration Resource Center, which is also an important constituent of the International Migration Center for Karnataka. So this is an initiative from the Department of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Livelihood. We would have these 30 migration information centers all over Karnataka, all the districts of Karnataka, where it would provide information and counseling to intended migrants on safe migration and raise awareness on irregular migration and related to the and whatever the risks that are related regarding to the migration. We will also give them the services like counseling, pre-department orientation, the awareness campaigns, and those kind of things are being planned in these migration resource center. Since, as we have spoken to many of the industries, they have expressed that many of the students at the graduation level at the tier 2 and tier 3 cities would have a issue with the communication. So we are even starting language laboratories, at least at the 5 zones, as a pilot project in the state of Karnataka in 5 locations, where they will be it will be helpful for them to through the communication, English, and the interview process, how they have to go through all those kind of things. And we have a kind of a portal called Kaushalkar, where the students can enroll themselves for seeking the skill training as well as employment. And we also have another portal called Skill Connect, where industries can post the requirements, and we will match the requirements with the skilled youth, so that they would be able to do the interviews and get the jobs. And we have, because of the COVID present condition, we have conducted a lot of virtual job fairs, and many of the youth have been got the employment through this virtual job fairs. And I think Karnataka is one of these leading state to form the district skill committees as per the requirement of the MSDE. And this district skill committee has been already formed in all the 30 districts under the leadership of the district collector, with the involvement of all the departments who are connected with the skilling, like industries, the NULM and the Department of Industry and Commerce, Department of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, and also the skilling institutions and industries, because finally it is the connect between the youth and the industries that would really matter. So this has also been initiated, and to see that all these things would happen only if the trainers are well trained, and if they have the particular skill, if they have experienced the skill, then only they will be able to transfer those skills to the youth. So for this, there is another initiative that we have brought in. One is training the trainers both with the soft skills as well as pedagogy and on the domain expertise also. So whichever the domain let us say we have selected about 10 economic sectors under Karnataka, which is the future sectors for Karnataka. Under these, the teachers, the trainers of the skilling institutions, ITIs, polytechnics, and degree colleges would be trained in those particular domain skills. So let us say if a welding is the domain skill that is to be imparted by a trainer. So the trainer would also go through a welding training program himself, and he would develop the competency so that he will be in fact be able to transfer this skill to the youth as required. So this has been another flagship program of Ksdc to develop the trainers, so that this will enhance the skilling ecosystem of Karnataka. So this has been, and we have conducted a lot of workshops where we have created awareness among the skilling institutions. We have around 400 vocational training partners who are doing the short-term programs. So we have conducted workshops so that they are aware of the National Qualification Assessment Framework, qualification packs, what are the different emerging job roles and those kind of things. Because finally, the VTPs are the vehicles of finally who are spreading the skilling message. So in this, these are the few initiatives of KSDC. So I'd like to thank Labour and Skill Department, Government of Kerala, for giving me the opportunity to be part of the APAC National Skill and Entrepreneurship Innovation Conclave and present some of the interventions that the Karnataka state has been doing to develop the human resource capital of Karnataka. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shashidhara, for sharing those initiatives. In fact, quite amazing various initiatives like Skill on Wheels. These are something I'm getting to hear and coming to know, which are new, and also the district level committee, of course, it is there across. Now I would come on to Ms. Deepthi Ravula, who is the CEO for Women Entrepreneurship Hub by the state of Telangana. They are doing some amazing work. Ms. Deepthi, if you can share some of your initiatives on, and also the collaborations that is happening by WEHUB with the other state boundaries. Over to you, Ms. Deepthi.
Thank you so much, Sudhir, and it's such a pleasure being here among such pioneers in the skilling movement of the country. So briefly to share a little bit about what we are doing, WEHUB is a Government of Telangana initiative and India's first and only physical incubator to support and scale women entrepreneurship. So in this WEHUB, we primarily do three things. We do not do any kind of skilling because we already have a wonderful entity called as TASK, which is already by the Government of Telangana. And it is rightly pointed out by many of the speakers, esteemed speakers before me, that there is a lot of focus on employment opportunities in the skilling missions, and WEHUB is actually an entity which comes after the skilling is already done. So at WEHUB, we do 3 different activities. First activity that we do is actually access to government. So we are working purely in the entrepreneurship space. And when I say that, we do not conduct large-scale entrepreneurial drives. We don't do any kind of activity towards any kind of EDPs which are not targeted and outcome-driven. But what we actually focus on is creating programs which are very catered to a very thoroughly selected pool of applicants. An example of this is that we are running a impact entrepreneurship. We do not differentiate between urban and rural because that is just the incidence of geography. But the way we differentiate our incubation program or the activity that we do is in the gamut of urban tech enabled and also impact and tier 2, tier 3 kind of demarcation that we do. And I'm happy to share that out of about 3,500 applications, we barely selected about 45 of them to be part of the incubation program or the support mechanisms of WEHUB. It is not to say that the remaining 3,400 people were rejected, but it is just that there has to be a demarcation between women who are actually doing work towards supplemental incomes, livelihood incomes, sustainable incomes, any kind of activity which is in it is not even at a stage where it can be called as a entity or an enterprise. So we kind of created very many different kind of curated and focus groups so that we can give the right kind of interventions. And out of the 50 entrepreneurs that we've actually selected out of the 3,500 women, I'm happy to share that 47 of them have actually continued on with the program, and on an average, as it was mentioned by I think our colleague from Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Kunal, as well as by Ksdc as well, is that each of them on an average has been able to generate about 5 jobs, and they make a monthly profit, which is the money that is left after the entire revenues and profit and loss, everything is done, is close to 75,000. And the main intent behind running a very curated program is that at WEHUB we want to make sure that when we select an entrepreneur, they understand the concept of creating a local economy, they understand the concept of creating local enterprises, and also creating local jobs. So that is the main focus of what we are doing at WEHUB in the impact side. On the technology entrepreneurship side, we actually are incubating close to 26 startups, which are selected from 16 cities in the country. And again, the goal here is to make sure that we do a proper incubation model by which we can enable more women entrepreneurs to kind of become the next generation of high potential women entrepreneurs. And even here, the screening process is very, very thorough. We select only 10% or actually 8% of the applicants who apply to us. So it's a very curated program. And coming on to the specific focus on state level collaborations. See, one thing we realized is that there is a lot of emphasis on women entrepreneurship. But the unfortunate fact is that when we talk about women entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurs are all seen at one as women entrepreneurs are always seen as one homogeneous group. And then the same kind of interventions are applied to all the women entrepreneurs, irrespective of the sector they are in, the scale they are in, the area they are in, and the focus of their entire premise. So the reason we have actually collaborated with different state governments is to make sure that instead of trying to compete on creating the same programs for in a homogeneous manner, can we create very curated outcome-driven programs? Or let's say somebody in Gujarat. Gujarat is very focused on textiles, and there is a few focus areas for them. So can we create a very curated incubation or any kind of program with Gujarat focusing on certain sectors? Similarly with Jammu and Kashmir, it is very big on tourism and also handicrafts and other stuff. So we collaborated with J&K on creating in a way a tourism tech kind of a space. We'll also be collaborating with Uttarakhand on more sustainable living and things like that. And we are also collaborating with a couple of states in the Northeast, which will be happening soon. And similarly in the South, our focus is purely on technology-enabled startups in the deep tech space. So, I mean, these kind of demarcations is the main reason why we've created these various collaborations with across states. And to kind of complement the activity that is already being done by Task, we also run a very active pre-incubation program. The reason I call it a pre-incubation program is because there is a entrepreneurial development program, and then there is also a understanding if a person can be an entrepreneur or not. And in the pre-incubation program, we conduct it only for about 60-70 students in a cohort. And what we do is we kind of work with them, and they are able to create a viable MVP at the end of the pre-incubation program. And I'm happy to share that, out of the 60 students who kind of get into the program, only 10 of them actually go on to becoming entrepreneur. Why am I happy to share this is not because the numbers are low, but because we are actually creating this awareness among the person itself, whether they are suitable to be an entrepreneur or not, whether it is the right time for them to be entrepreneurs or not. And that will actually increase the effectiveness of all the incubation or any kind of entrepreneurship development programs that we conduct with them later. So these are the kind of very targeted and focused programs that we are doing at WEHUB. And I think we'll be having a conversation later anyway. So I will just stop with that introduction, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Deepthi, for sharing those wonderful initiatives. Of course, we'll come back to you. Now, I would come to Mr. Jayaram, who's the director with the State Bank Institute of Learning and Development. Mr. Jayaram, if you can hear us, we would like to hear from you about how the SBILD is contributing towards skilling, and how it's helping beyond skilling those, especially in the State Bank of India organization and beyond. Mr. Jayaram, can you hear us?
Yeah, I have some connectivity issue. For the time being now, I have muted my video. It is purposely done to save the bandwidth. Good afternoon once again to all the panelists. I'm so happy that to be with the distinguished panelists. And here at actually our the Institute of Learning and Development.
Mr. Jayaram, there seems to be some connectivity issue. Your voice is also breaking. Can you please try to connect from some other? Can you look for some good connectivity, if possible? Because we cannot hear you completely. Meanwhile, I would like to come to Mr. Kunal Silku. By the time Mr. Jayaram.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. There is.
Mr. Jayaram, your voice is actually breaking. We cannot hear you completely. Yeah, fine. If you can connect and look for some good connectivity, then we'll come back to you, Mr. Jayaram. Yeah. Now, I would come to Mr. So, sorry for that interruption. And now I come to Mr. Kunal. Mr. Kunal, Uttar Pradesh being the largest state of our country, and how is that you're tracking the employability, and how is this happening at the grassroots level?
Actually, see, in UP, what we have done, we have created DSDPs. So DSDPs are basically district skill development plans. It is also a scheme of Government of India under the scheme called Conclave, in which we are required to create DSDPs. So when we, in fact, UP was the first state to create DSDPs of all the districts. Later, I think now Rajasthan has also done it. So in DSDP, there is a very good study regarding what all are the potentials available in a district. How good is the economy performing? What all are the local job avenues available? Which industries are there? And what is the skilling type of skilling which is required for gaining local employment? Simultaneously, there are various districts which are out migration bound. Some are in migration bound. So in the out migration bound districts, we actually do a study that which are those countries or which are those states or districts where our out migration is happening, and what kind of a skill set is required in those destination places. And then accordingly, this gives us the skill gap analysis, and we actually train the students in those kind of skills. So I'm very happy to share that this year, 2021, even though it was a COVID year, we gave all our targets based on these DSDPs only. So it was actually demand-driven exercise which was made. And definitely it has improved the employability. That is why the numbers have also increased. The employment figures have also increased, because now we are not just training in any kind of trade. We are training in the most hot cake kind of sectors which require urgent employment and things like that. So this is how we have actually tried to work on the employability. And the other aspect is actually bringing in self-employment ventures like Seva Mitra, which I discussed with you earlier. That using Seva Mitra, how we are trying to connect all those daily wagers and day job workers. There is also a question of project job. So all these people who are actually currently unorganized, they don't have a proper organized setup. Somebody is opening some shop, or somebody is providing services in somebody's home. So now we are actually asking them to set up a startup company, or get employed in some small company and then register as a company. And then when they register as a company, then basically it is. Am I audible? Because light has got my ear.
Yes, you're audible and visible, Mr. Kunal.
Okay. So now when they are coming as a company. So now their all income is recorded, their taxes are recorded. So basically, it is trying to organize a sector which has traditionally been unorganized. So this has been an initiative, and it has actually increased the employability, because one very important aspect was that our skill certificate was not having that value. People used to ask that even if we train, even if we give people this RPL certificates or these PMKY certificates or these NSDC certificates, actually industries are not too much bothered that you are having the certificate. Actually, validation is very less. So we were actually pondering that what we can do to actually create some kind of value with these certificates. So in the Seva Mitra, we have actually tried to make one of those interventions in which we have said that if you have to work as Seva Mitra, you have to be a certified skilled person. You just cannot be a skilled person. You have to be a certified person. And if you don't have any kind of certification, come to us and we will train you in RPL. We will have a 3-day training and we'll train you in that, and we'll be doing it. In fact, GOI has also is doing a pilot in UP only, in Varanasi. In Varanasi they are doing it. We are the partners in that initiative, in which they have taken up 2 blocks, and they have said that in these 2 blocks, all the works which will be done by Panchayat Raj institutions, by Gram Panchayats, works like hand pump removal, works like tiles laying, small road formation, maybe some other works. So all these works will be compulsorily done by only those people who will be skill certified. So this is a pilot which they have done, and now they are extending the pilot to the whole of Varanasi district, from 2 blocks of Varanasi to the whole of Varanasi district. I'm pretty sure that with this success, very soon we will be able to roll out at the pan India level, where we will mandate that if you have to work in government programs, government schemes, then you need the skill certificate. It's not that we'll just hire anybody. So all these initiatives will actually provide value to the certificate which is there. So I think this is all from my side, from the employability side. Thank you so much.
Amazing, Mr. Kunal. We're glad that the state of Uttar Pradesh is doing some amazing work, and especially it's going beyond Uttar Pradesh as well. Now I come to Mr. Shrikant. Mr. Shrikant, how are besides IT, the state of Karnataka, state of Telangana are very good in terms of the IT employment, and the way the fastest growing IT hub in India after Karnataka. So we would like to know, how are the new sectors that are being identified and that are being looked as the most promising area or sector for the upcoming, be it employment or entrepreneurship.
Thanks, Sudhir. So essentially, if you look at it, and you rightly said, Telangana, if you look at the exports of Telangana last year was over 18%, which is double than the national average itself. So Telangana has got a very established IT industry, and of course, every day we keep on reading the papers, some new companies coming up and setting up operations over here. But having said that, I think what we also need to realize is Telangana is also 1/3 of the world's vaccines are manufactured in Telangana itself. And of course, as you know, for COVID also, the vaccine has been done over here. So if you look at the various areas, the various segments that are opening up, of course, pharma has got a huge scope over here in Telangana, especially with the pharma city coming up. and other institutions also coming up over here. CCMB we have over here. So there is a whole, it's a very, very vibrant ecosystem for pharma here in the state. So that's one area where definitely, if you look at, there is a whole lot of potential. Then if you look at things like, Telangana is moving quickly into the area of EVM, so electrical vehicles and mobility. So along with that, a lot of other things are opening up. ESS, electronic system storages, cells, batteries, various different units, etc. And these all industry required skilled people, right? Our colleges, our polytechnics, our ITIs are not skilling enough for these areas. So you need to have that. If you talk about IT, there are 10 emerging technology areas where skilling needs to be provided. And that's where skilling needs to be given to them. If you look at logistics, Telangana is again, growing as a logistic hub. We have got multimodal logistics park coming up. There are multiple such things happening. So again, a lot of people will be required to, become the manpower for these industries. Today, if you look at across the country, a lot of such things are happening across. I think what Telangana is unique is that we have something what we call as first year productivity program. For example, aerospace, when a large French engine manufacturer wanted to set up their operations in Telangana, they went obviously to the aeronautical engineering colleges, etc. But unfortunately, across India, the aeronautical engineering colleges don't have the latest machineries, etc. They don't have the latest engines. They've got World War II engines, etc., on which they train. So there's a huge gap. So what we did was we converted the model and we went to tier 2, tier 3 polytechnics, district polytechnics we went to, and we encouraged those people who had done electronics, electrical, as well as mechanical. Instead of looking at careers, of course, these were the underserved people. So we converted them, checked their aptitude for this kind of an industry. And happy to say that, after training, a majority of them were recruited by that organization itself. So such kind of models are being tried over here in Telangana, where we are looking at all these things. To understand what is the potential of these various other industries also, during COVID, during the pandemic, what we did was we ran what we call as career counseling series. So it was run online for all students across the state. We ran a career talk series. So starting with IT, we moved to aerospace, we moved to medical technology, manufacturing, electronics manufacturing, hospitality, retail, you name it, we covered all the industry, and we got the who's who of those domains to interact with our students, talk about what are the future job opportunities available over there, what are the skills that will be required. Of course, one thing which is a known fact, that everyone that we spoke to, whether it was food processing to hospitality, everyone was talking about the role of artificial intelligence, machine language, etc., also coming in a big way in all the various domain areas, etc. So what we started doing is we partnered with various IBM for that open PTech platform, where the degree students as well as polytechnic students, etc., will be given courses on introduction to technologies. So those are the ways that we are preparing the youth of the state to benefit from all these various new technological areas and opportunities that are opening up in Telangana and across the globe. Another thing which I'd like to also mention as far as the entrepreneurship is concerned, as we said, we are running this entrepreneurship program, especially in the districts. And what we are trying to do is give them exposure to, first, as we said, we create an entrepreneurial development mindset. How do you think differently? How do you look at innovative solutions, right? And we are okay if some solutions, something only remain as innovation and they don't become enterprises or successful businesses per se. But what we are looking at is, how do you create solopreneurs, micropreneurs, as Deepthi said, 4 to 5 people can be employed with them, or even entrepreneurs. And that's where our entire focus is. So as part of our program that we do for these entrepreneurs, the budding entrepreneurs, we also cover the financial aspects of it. How do you present? How do you pitch to a prospective buyer? We did a very unique kind of a model over there. We created the program where 1.5 hours, and this was run virtually, was actually sessions about entrepreneurship. Half an hour, we picked up 5 theme areas from education, skills and livelihood, healthcare, green economy, access to last mile connectivity, as well as sorry, I'm forgetting one of them, but yeah, we had 5 areas where we looked at it. And what we said was, we got one of the experts from these fields to come and interact with the students. And we have 2 entrepreneurs, one of a national importance, one of a Telangana importance, to actually come and interact with these people. So thus fueling not only their imagination, but also talking about what innovation can be done in that field, how things can be done differently. So this is typically what we are doing in that space. And of course, Deepthi will talk about a lot of other initiatives in the entrepreneurship space that she's so successfully running.
Yes,
thanks.
Sir. Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Sinha. Now I come to Mr. Jayaram. I hope there is good connectivity now. Can you please, Mr. Jayaram, who's the director with the State Bank? Yes. Now it's good.
Yeah. Now I have good connectivity. Sorry for the interruption. Sorry for that disruption. I was talking about, we are in the training system and we train our colleagues and all over Kerala, those who come to SBILD up to the scale of chief managers. We really give them the valuable inputs which they require, and we make their what is their role, what is to be done by them, and then once the role clarity is established, we give them sufficient skills. Now it's like including the communication skills, the soft skills, the technical skills, how to work in CBS environment, and at the same time, all the colleagues who come from different areas of work, like those who are dealing with MSME, those who are dealing with agriculture, and they are given inputs in such a way that they are able to do a presentation back home at the branches where they work. So what they normally do, they will be attending various seminars, MSME seminars, agricultural workshops, and then they will be imparting that knowledge and skills to the budding entrepreneurs. We say that entrepreneurship, it's an individual ability, to turn ideas into action. We have so many ideas in the world, so we need to convert those ideas into action. In SB also, we even started talking about, we are talking about intrapreneurship. Intrapreneurship is something which it's a system where we are trying to identify the entrepreneur within us. That sort of situation we are in, and we know that we have banker as a banker, we have a social responsibility. We need to pay our social rent, because the society has made us state bankers. So we need to contribute to the society where we live in. We need to contribute back to the society where we live in. That is, we are time and again reminding our colleagues, are you paying your social rent? So only when they get in touch with the community at last, and then giving them the basic skills, the life skills, the soft skills, it is our responsibility also. So we know that as COVID-19 has struck, the world has changed forever. And we also know that adaptation is the key now. If you are rigid now, we'll be losing business, we'll be on the losing side. So again, experts, they say that the time has come. It's not the survival of the fittest, but it is the survival of the quickest. So adaptation to the new environment and then learning new things, that is the order of play. And normally we find that there is the system which we have been practicing, all have been observing also all over India, all over the world. There is a forced kind of entrepreneurship. Students, when they come out of the college successfully passing their degrees, what they do, they try to get a job in an MNC. But is it very important? The COVID-19 has taught us certain lessons. Is it that important to get a job in an MNC? It's all how you will be positioning yourself in your life. So the positioning is very, very important. So again, COVID-19 tells us we need to need a very a more conscious life. We need to be in tune with our nature. These experts also say that what goes around comes around, right? what goes around comes around. So we need to think about adding value to the society. And then in the state of Kerala, no, we find that no state government has gone for massive skill development program. Like the one is the additional skill acquisition program of Kerala. It is being implemented by the state of Kerala with assistance from ADB, Asian Development Bank. Basically, for skilling the students who are in the higher secondary and undergraduate students, and what is the industry expecting of those students. So they are like being empowered. The students are being empowered, and and they'll be meeting the industry standards. So it will be a great situation. What we learn and what the industry requires. There is a matching. There is an alignment. I should say realignment with the student curriculum as that of the industry's requirement. That's, I think, we will be able to create so many budding entrepreneurs over here. And when we say that our community, the people are fully skilled, we will have the the competing ability with the rest of the world. We will be able to compete, because we need to create so many entrepreneurs within the society. So again, here in this, I was talking about the additional skill acquisition program, where the industry professionals they are joining students right from the level of curriculum development and also up to the placement stage also. So students, the selection of students is the criteria is that they are selected those who come from the lower strata of the society, and understanding the socio-economic background. They are selected and valuable inputs given to them, the soft skills, the life skills, the community skills, etc. And as a result, that what happens is that we are able to generate establish so many community skills park. So the community skills are like it's a futuristic skill training centers, so that so many people will get trained in that process. It's something like hub and spoke model, where the education institutions and the training centers are working. So the important takeaways from this is that the linkage with the industry is actually something very important. What the industry requires, are we able to, the students when they come out of the college, are they able to contribute to the requirement of the industry? That's one big question. We'll be able to address that. And communication skills. We generally say that if the communication skill is not good, however proficient a person might be, he will not be able to deliver, because that is something which whatever I have in your mind, I should be able to express, and the person who hears that should be able to understand in the way I have understood. So that is very important. Communication is something very, very important, and the students will be given those sort of skills, the life skills, so that they will be able to mature as a good worker, an all-round worker, so that he will be able to express his skills, the practical skills which he have. And I would say that for coming to entrepreneurship, we don't basically require a education, a good quality education is not required. If we just notice what is happening in that national innovation, I think it's a national innovation excellence at New Delhi, and it's a like annual program which is conducted at Rashtrapati Bhavan. If you observe that people who come over there, most of them are like school dropouts, housewives, but they have plenty of skills with them. So they are able to, given an environment, they're able to perform. So we need to generate that kind of ownership in the state of Kerala. That's the purpose what the government is right doing now also. And another thing is that in the state of Kerala, we have what is called CASE, Kerala Academy for Skills Excellence. That's again skilling the young and making them at par with the global counterparts. So we need to inculcate that sort of competition in the young minds. They are not competing when we not within Kerala, the state of Kerala, they are competing with the rest of the people in the world. So again, another the Norca routes, that is non-resident Keralites affairs. There's a Norca routes, and they are also in partner with SD Global. SD Global, they are conducting so many soft skills, then training, testing, certification program, so that the focus is to get job overseas. All those students who attend to the program, they are able to get some employment overseas. That is the purpose of it. And another wonderful thing in Kerala, I can tell you that, and personally also I have experienced, it is the Kudumbashree mission, SSG, self-help group. So we have given so many and so much of advances to this particular segment under agri segment, and for various needs. For very needs, they come to us. Maybe it's for poultry farming, and then beekeeping, cattle rearing. It could be anything. Like even the Kudumbashree members, consisting of 20, 5 of them will be taking part in one activity, and another 5 will be in another activity. Simultaneously, the financing also happens. The good thing about Kudumbashree is that actually they don't require a collateral security. We normally in bankers, we may have the comfort of having some collateral security in the sense that we may say that, yeah, it is properly secured. But Kudumbashree, the real advantage is that there is something called a peer pressure among the workers, peer pressure among the members. If 20 members are there, they will be exerting that pressure. That peer pressure is something that is understood from within. So they will be telling others, all of us together have availed a loan, and if you are not giving your contribution, what will happen to us? So that sort of pressure is getting built up, and actually that substitutes the bankers' collateral. Something really good. And I've seen that wherever we have given advances to Kudumbashree, the recovery rate is also superb. Very few incidents of NPA. So Kudumbashree is another mission where they'll be able to train so many students in the young stage, and so that they'll be able to work as fully grown individuals. And again, there is also know that Kudumbashree mission, because the community people are scattered all over. They are incentivizing some volunteers, and then these volunteers go to the various centers, and they give sort of reaching out to the person and then getting him trained also in that process. And another thing which I can say that which is Attapadi skill training program. Attapadi, probably you may not know, it's a tribal area, and there's a special intervention there made, and the idea is to include all people who are excluded. We are already talking about all inclusiveness. We need to find out people who are excluded from the system, from the economic system. So we need to include them back to the system so that they will be able to live a reasonable, decent life.
Yeah.
So this is what, and again, there we are trying to uplift the two socially backward communities, trying to improve the status of Muduga and Kurumba, and two tribal communities over there, and it is aimed at the upliftment of them at Attapadi. This is all I would like to say. That what I'm again trying to tell is that whatever we do as state bankers, and we are taking the society into consideration. The things which we do should get, as a banker, we have the responsibility. Whatever we do, it must have a reflection in the society, so that we are able to generate a very prosperous, very dynamic society.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Jayaram. I'm glad to hear that State Bank not just is confined to skilling and training its own workforce, but workforce, but also is contributing towards skilling, generating employment, and also entrepreneurship of those who are underprivileged and also in the tribal areas. Glad to know. Now I come to our esteemed speaker from the state of Karnataka, Mr. The Executive Director from the Karnataka Skill Development Corporation.
Hi, Sudhir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would just like to know how, by any way, this the slogan and the campaign by the government of India, vocal for local. How is there a push in terms of employment, in terms of skill development in Karnataka, especially in these lines? Is there a push in terms of in Karnataka?
Yeah, especially when it comes to the lot of traditional skills what Karnataka has. In fact, one of the major initiative that has been taken is in the region of North Karnataka. There's a place called Koppala, where there is a traditional toy making industry, and that particular area has been earmarked for development of toy industry. And there has been a kind of trying to find out that so that native art doesn't die out, and also at the same time how these people who have the native skills in doing toys would be useful for making toys for the modern requirement. So that is one initiative that has been taken as what we can see that the things will be taken to the global level. At the same time, there are other areas where we have similarly in near to Bangalore, there is toys from the Chennapatna, where also there's a toy cluster which is coming up for development of these toy industry. And similarly, we do have programs at various districts where we are identifying the traditional skills, so that the traditional skills would not die out. And we are working on making those, formalizing those skill development activities for each of these industries, and trying to form a kind of a qualification pack so that the youth also can start learning about these skills, and also towards making them modernize towards, so that it would appeal to the global society in every possible way. That's what we are trying to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shashidhar. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us and sharing these initiatives. With this, we come to end of this particular session. After a short break, we will have yet another session that would be focusing on role of higher education in imbibing entrepreneurial zeal to young mind. I would like to thank our speaker from the state of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Kunal Silku, who is a mission director with Uttar Pradesh Skill Development Mission, and of course Mr. Shrikant Sinha, CEO of Telangana Academy of Skill and Knowledge from the state of Telangana, Miss Deepthi Ravula, CEO with the WEHUB, Women Entrepreneurship Hub with the government of Telangana, and also Mr. Shashidhara, Executive Director, Karnataka Skill Development Corporation, and last but not the least, Mr. Jayaram, who's the Director with the State Bank of India Development and Training Institute. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. We would soon be coming up and documenting all these best practices and innovation in our Conclave report that would be reaching to you in the form of in our magazine, education magazine, that will be reaching out to you soon. Thank you very much.